Good morning, everyone. My name is Napaai, as you can see on the screen. I'm a personal librarian for the College of Graduate Studies, and I'm also responsible for some of the subject areas in the College of Human Sciences, Information Science, History, and Politics. And I'm sure by now you all know that I'm part of a team of 17 librarians, personal librarians from different colleges who are also responsible for different subject areas. You all have library guides, which each and every one of us has put together. So if you don't know who your personal librarian is, who can assist you with your research portfolio or your research topic, you're welcome to go and check from the library's website and see under the list of all the library guides that we have who your librarian is, because they are all listed according to all the subject areas that are taught at the university. So all of you have your own librarians, and I'm just the librarian for the college and those three subjects that I've just spoken about. So what we're going to talk about this morning, it's referencing. Most of you will notice that referencing, it's your style of citation actually. Different departments or different subject areas, they have their own referencing styles. What we going to do this morning, I'm just going to take you through what we call a reference management tool, which lists some of the tools that you guys can use from your honors level, whether you continue with your M&D. These are the tools that will allow you to keep all your references there. And what is nice with these tools is that it will allow you to do your in-text citation. You know, when you write your paper and you just want to insert a reference, whether it's Van der Waals 2010 or Napaai 2020, you are able to pull a reference from your bibliographic management tool. We subscribe to Mendeley. We also subscribe to RefWorks. These are the tools that you can use and just create your own set of references on these tools. These two tools are not the only ones that we use. We also have what we call EndNote, which is a software that you can also download from the internet, but it also comes as a package from the Web of Science, one of our subscribed databases. What I'm going to do this morning, I'll take you through these reference management tools platforms, and I'm just going to quickly demonstrate to you, the different kinds of referencing techniques that you can use from the Monash Library Guide, which I have a link from my own library guide of information science. And then finally, I'll just quickly take you to Sage Research Methods Online, one of our pride databases. It's one of the best with all the research methodology material. It includes your ebooks, because I know now that we are, in COVID, most of you would probably want to look at a lot of ebooks, and also some of the articles and some of the dictionaries or encyclopedic material on certain types of research methodologies that you want to use in your research papers. Like I said, there are certain styles that I use, and what I can advise you is that you first of all, contact your lecturers and find out what kind of style you should be using. As I'm saying, There are different kinds of styles. You know, Harvard, there are variant styles of Harvard. You know, there's Harvard Augmented, there's a Harvard whatever edition. It comes in different edition, and each department or each subject area has its own way of, you know, referencing. Some are using Harvard Augmented. I know in health studies, they've got their own document of referencing, which they offer to their own students. That is the department that has sort of taken Harvard and sort of like augmented it and make it easier for their students. And I know in some of the social sciences, a lot of them use APA, and also with APA, which is American Psychological Association's citation style, it also has its own editions. So you must just make sure from your department or from your lecturers from the beginning, which is the appropriate style to use. And in languages, and most people are using what we call MLA, which is the Modern Languages Association. It also has its own different editions. So just find out from the onset what kind of a style is your department or your lecturer recommending when you write a book, when you cite an article, when you cite the chapter from a book, when you cite a thesis, and when you cite some of the things that you find from the internet, like your Google Scholar items, or maybe something that has been, or whether it's a newspaper article. What kind of style do you use when you cite those items? Like I said, different departments have different styles. Right, you are probably by now you've used this page and you are familiar with it. You can come through this page by going to your main UNISA page, which is www.unisa.ac.za. You should know it by now. And then you click on the library, and then you come to this page. So when you come to this page, you have to go to library guides, because that's where you're going to find what we call reference management tool. These are the tools that we subscribe to. And what is nice with these tools, besides RefWorks, Mendeley is one of the one that we sort of like promote and recommend, because with Mendeley, you are able to work offline. It doesn't, it offers you a place to work when you are not connected on the internet. And I think that is key with data being so expensive. So if you go for Mendeley, in this case, you are allowed, you will be able to work offline. You don't have to be connected to any of our, to any internet. So it offers you that thing. So you go to the alphabetical list of all your library guides, and this will appear under the R, which is called Reference Management Tools. When you click on it, it opens the guide itself. I just want to show you here. Here's Mendeley, and here's EndNote, and here's RefWorks. So for those of you who want to register for one of these, you can go to click on Mendeley and you just say, I want to get started. So Mendeley requires you to do 4 things. Our next slide will, if you click there under getting started, Mendeley wants you to register an account. And this account should be registered by all the students only using your MyLife email account. It's not going to take your Gmail account. And I'm sure by now you all know that your Gmail account, it's actually, you can use it for private things, but not to do with any of our UNISA things. So when you register for an account here, when you click here, when you register for an account, it will require your MyLife email account. You can use any password. But remember, if you use any password, you must remember it at any given time when you go to Mendeley. So your first step is to register an account here. I'll show you how to do that. I'll just take you there when I go live. You will register for an account, but again, it requires you to download this Mendeley desktop, the one that I was saying, it allows you to work offline. So the desktop Mendeley download, it's also on the Mendeley's main page where you download it, and it has to sit on your desktop. So your logging ins, your registration or your logins for Mendeley when you register here will also apply when you go to the desktop. And every time you open your desktop, when you start working with your references, it will sync with your online one, the one that you registered on. Remember now you'll have two reference ports. You register an account, and when you export references, they will go directly to your online account. So when you work online, like I'll show you how to do that. You will export, let's say you're doing a search on EBSCO, you have selected some few articles, and then instead of emailing them to yourself, you will have to use an export function, which will take all your articles to your bibliographic management tool, this Mendeley. So your online bibliographic reference management tool should speak to your desktop. What you have on your online version should also be on your desktop, so that when you work offline, you sync the two. You're working with references that appear on both, but we'll get there. I'll show you how the syncing happens. And then once you've done number one, number two, register, download, you still have to install what we call the Mendeley Web Importer. When you look at this, it tells you what all of these are and what they do. Installing your Web Importer will allow you, when you work on Google Scholar, remember when you work on Google Scholar, you don't have a way to mark references like any other database or maybe from the catalog. So it gives you per item. There's no way for you to be able to export any of those things. So if you have this web importer, you can just open the web importer, and then you sort of like you click on your item that is on Google Scholar, it will automatically go into your web importer and it appears on your bibliographic tool. So that has to happen, because otherwise you won't be able to use Google Scholar and determine that these are the things that I have on Google Scholar, and then I have to import them to my Mendeley account. But before you even do your Google Scholar, you have to have the settings correct. So when you go live, I'm going to show you how you do the settings on Google Scholar, because I think somebody asked this in our previous presentation, that they want to know how do they, you have to do your settings properly so that you are able to export this into your Mendeley account. And finally, you have to install what we call a citation plug. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Word document. When you go there on your Word document, when you start writing your assignments or your research paper, at the top function there's what we call references. When you click on that references, it indicates the kind of citation that you have chosen. If you have chosen Harvard, you have to stick with Harvard. If it's APA, it has to be APA. And what this web plugin thing does is to allow you to pull references from your Mendeley account into your paper. I'll show you when we go and demonstrate this. When you write and you want to say you code Smith 2010, you are able to just pull it by a mere click. And at the end of the day, Once you're done with your write-up, you put your cursor at the end of your paper, and then you just say to the system, you click there at the top, you say, just create a bibliography for me. But make sure that you've already selected the style, and when you click and say create the bibliography for me for this particular assignment or paper, it does it automatically. So you don't have to worry about your commas, your italics, whether the authors should be in bold or underlined. It does it for you depending on the style that you have chosen. So this is what you have to do before you even have this Mendeley as your bibliographic tool. And the same as with RefWorks. RefWorks also allow you to, you have to register, you open an account, and with both of this, I'll show you when we go on a demo, there are small little clips of videos, and it will show you how are you going to now create this bibliography. It's got a sort of like a 5-minute video where somebody tells you how to do it. What is nice also on Mendeley, we have a clip. If you want to know now, I've got all these set up, I've registered the accounts, I've downloaded all the necessary stuff, your web importer, your desktop, and your plugin for the Word document. How do I now utilize, all of this? There are very nice videos on the guide, which you must just go and listen up and try to practice that once you start writing. So this is the Mendeley. When you click on that getting started where it says you have to now create an account, it opens on this page. It's a Mendeley.com account, and you find it on your guide. There's a link on each and every guide, on each and every subject guide under referencing, you'll see there's a Mendeley. If you click there, it will come here, but you can use the reference management tools guide, and this is what happens. So when you click here, you want to create an account. I already have an account, so when I go into Mendeley, I just log in. Like I said to you guys, when you create an account, it has to be your MyLife email account, because these are subscribed databases and we pay for this. So it's not free for all. So these are only meant for our own students. So once I've logged in, I land on this page. So this is my online page. If I want to send stuff to this page, this is my landing page, which has other nice things. It's got COVID-19 things, these are sort of an add-ons, but I don't want to go through this because what I'm interested in is what is in my library. So once you register with your Mendeley and you have exported references, you will have a library within that tool, Mendeley. And it says I've logged in as Napaai, and once I've used this, I can just click here and log out. So if I click on my library, this is what it looks like. These are all the references that I've exported into my account. I said to you, you have to download the web importer. It has to sit at the bar of your internet connection. So there's my web importer. It's that icon, it's that Mendeley icon. So it has been successfully been installed. So it will allow me to work on Google Scholar and be able to export things, on Google Scholar just directly here, because I've got this downloaded properly. So this is how my library looks like on Mendeley. And each one of you, if you go and register an account and start exporting, and in some instances, because you are at the beginning of your research phase, so this page will be empty. It won't have any references until you go and do a search on any of our databases, whether it's EBSCO, your Academic Search Premier, or whether it's any other database, you will be able to export the references into this page. So this is my library with all the references that I've exported. It gives me all the references that I have here, or if I've just recently added some stuff, they will, the latest ones usually appear at the top of my list. And it also gives me what it does, it will also give me some PDF documents if maybe I've just exported stuff with PDF. So you can put everything here. So this will be your library. You can work from this page. So when you click on any of your PDF, you see these are my files. Some of these are PDFs. They are not showing that they are PDF. I can have this library and work from here and click on this, and then it takes me to a PDF document of my art. So you don't have to sort of like download a lot of PDF and put them somewhere. You can bring them here. It exports everything, your reference plus your PDF documents will come here. So this will be your personalized library of references. And you can edit and you can delete some of the stuff that you don't want, and you can have different collections. Let's say at your level, you're not going to have that. It's only the master's and doctoral students which will have collections. So you can place your references according to what you're working on. If you have assignment 1 and then it's on this particular topic, you can just you add new collection. This allows you. It's like a folder that you're adding. So you can say, I need to have collections, all my collections under this particular name. So you can add collections. So in this instance, I have collections under literature review and under education. So these are if I were to click here, if I'm live, I would get collections under literature review. So you can have your folders and name them accordingly, and then you just insert some of the reference so that when you write up, let's say you're doing a literature review, you just use those collections from within that particular folder. And you can add, if you have something that you want to add manually, it allows you to add a new thing here. You just click here and then it opens a form. If it's a book that you've been using and it was not exported online, you can add it. It allows for edition manually. It gives you a form for a book, for a journal article, for if it's a chapter of a book, you can also add it. It will give you a form that you complete and then you just save and then it will be added on your library. Okay, these are the downloads that you have to do. Once you've registered an account, you just come here. It will appear on your Mendeley online library port. Once you register, you come here and download your Mendeley desktop for Windows. It's a very quick process. You do it here once, and then it will appear on your desktop. And then you go ahead and you do your web importer installation. You also install the web importer. And then finally you install your citation plugin so that it appears. The icon of Mendeley has to be on your Word document, on your MS Word, where you do the write-up. It has to appear there so that you can be able to pull references from your library. Okay, so this is what the desktop looks like. It's Mendeley desktop. You can add stuff here also manually if you want to. If you haven't exported this as an online document, you are able to add. When you click here, it will give you different prompts of, is it a book? Then you say, yes, I'm adding a book. Or is it an article? Yes, I'm adding an article to this. This is my library, which is similar to the one you saw online. So that other one, once you register, you have an online library for yourself on the Mendeley database. And then this one is the one that will allow you to work offline. So when you work here, you don't have to be connected to the internet because this will pull all references. When you click on your Mendeley desktop, you have to use your logins from that Mendeley have to be the same. And at the bottom here, when you click on this one, it will say to you, it's now talking to the online one. It syncs your references. So it makes sure that it picks up what you've added on the online one, and it becomes one. So you can see here, these are all my references. And then the ones that have PDFs, and then some of these will just have links to PDF. So it brings up all the PDF documents here. So, and it will sync your online Mendeley library with this desktop one. So you can have your recently added documents at the top. You can have your my publications. It's all, you know, the folders here. You can also create folders here. So this is nice because then it allows, this is your own desktop library where you have all the references similar to the ones that are available online. So this is where you're going to work when you're going to do your write-up. You will be pulling references from this one, and then you're going to say, you know, sync my reference and with what I want to put on my document. And then you can also create some folders if you want to. So these are the authors. You can maybe, when you do your write-up, you can click on any of these authors. When you start typing, it picks up the whole reference by a certain author from this document. So this is your Mendeley tab. We'll go to it when we go live. So this is where you're going to cite and write. So we call it write and cite. So you write and cite at the same time. They've got a very short YouTube video on how you're now going to generate these citations on your using your desktop and doing your write-up. So this is key, and RefWorks has a similar thing. So if you were to go for RefWorks, remember with the RefWorks, if you choose between the two, with RefWorks, you won't be able to work offline. That's the only disadvantage, but it works the same as Mendeley. It's the same. It has the same thing. You also have to download certain stuff on RefWorks so that you are able to work on it. But the only let down with RefWorks is that you won't be able to work offline. You always have to be connected on the internet. So with Mendeley, you can work offline. Hence, you have that desktop library for yourself. So you go and look at this. Sorry, my battery is going flat. So you have to go and look at this reference, and then make sure that you listen up to this short clip, and it's got all kinds of things and how do you do your citations as you do your write-up. Okay, so and on each, remember I told you that you guys have, all of you have a librarian, and we've created all of these library guides. I'm sure you know them by now. So you know what your guide is and who your librarian is. And remember I said we have all kinds of tabs. So when you go under referencing, and most of us have placed what that particular subject area prefers you to use. So on my information science guide, I've got examples like your APA, your Chicago style, your Harvard style generator, but I want to just showcase this Monash University Library on citing and referencing, which is very good. It has all the styles on their guide. We've just made a link. You all know the Monash University in Midrand, so this is the link to their guide on referencing. So they've got a guide with all kinds of style. So when you click, let's say on Harvard, it will sort of tell you Harvard do have different variants. So if you use this kind of Harvard, whether it's Harvard 12th edition, this is how you cite the book for that particular edition. This is how you cite an article. This is how you cite a newspaper. This is how you cite maybe an internet page. So on my library information science guide, I have this Monash library, which I'm going to demo. But in this department of information science, they've actually compiled a guideline for all their students from undergraduate to PhD. So they've got their own referencing style. It's a PDF document. So all the students are compelled to work through this. And in some departments, actually, like in your health studies, and I know it's health studies, I think in education, they also have their own referencing style. They've got their own PDF document that they offer to their students. So you guys should make sure that you contact your lecturer and find out from the onset what is their style of preference, or in most cases, some of the library guides will have references to this. So on my guide for information science, I have all of this. But what I want to show you here is that Monash University Library on citation and referencing. So when I open it, this is how it looks like. We'll go and demo it, and then I'll show you. It's got all kinds of styles, your APA, your Chicago, different variants of Chicago, 16th and the 17th edition, how the law students, have their own citation. We know law is different from all the other disciplines, and they have their own, and they also recommend certain styles. There's Vancouver and there's Harvard, and here you'll find out that, with their Harvard, they've got different editions. So we'll go there when we go for our demonstration. And then I will end with your methodology part. Remember, we spoke about how you can search for ebooks on research methodology in a specific discipline on the catalog, or maybe when you use your databases. But there's this very nice database called Sage Research Methods Online, especially when you are still new in your discipline, and now you have to write a research paper, and they tell you that you have to use different methodologies. So Sage has this very nice map. It's called a research a map. It maps methodologies for you. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you, and you guys, you all have this tab on your guides from different subject areas, and this Sage Research Methods Online. I think it's on all our research our library guides from whether it's languages or communication science, English, all subjects are represented here. They, under research support, they have this. But I also want to mention to you is that on each and every guide, you also have these research methodology books for your specific subject area. So it's a mixture of e-books and also of online books. So go to your specific guide and see what your librarians have posted on these pages. And another key important announcement I just want to take you through is that now that you are about to write your papers, you can also use these links from your guides. So these, remember last week you had a session, and this is on academic writing and plagiarism. So it refers you to books that you can look at on all these topics. These are generic topics that every student that registers with us should actually familiarize themselves, how to write your research proposal, but you're not there yet, and how to be consistent when you write for academic writing, and things like plagiarism. So you can pick up a book or so and then just familiarize. These are online books that you can look at. Okay, so I'm now going to close this, and then we're going to go live. So I think I'll start with the recommended books. Remember when you have recommended, and in most modules, they have recommended books and what we call e-reserves. Those are recommended articles that you must use for that particular module. On the library's homepage, you just go here to find your e-reserves and recommended books. You click on that link and then you search according to your specific code. So you search a code. I'm just going to search any of the modules that I know has recommended books or even articles, and then you submit. So this will give you a list of electronic reserves. So this means this particular course code has placed all these online journals for their students. This is an honors module. So you just click on the title of an article, depending on what your assignment is all about. You can't just download all of them. You look at the question of your assignment, and then you go and select the ones that talk to what you have to write up for. So these are the articles that, if this module had recommended books, I would have a list of books here. So the one that asks about the recommended books, you have to use the course code that is on that TAT 101, and then you go and do your find e-reserves or recommended books, and then you put in that course code and then you search. In some instances, you have books that are recommended and you have electronic reserves, which are your articles that are freely available for you to download. So recommended books, you have to request them. And I think last time I showed you how do you request. You go to your My Library and then you go and request, or you do a title search of a book and then you request it. There will be a request function at the top of a page somewhere here. There will be a tick with the request. You just request the book and then you tell the system, I'm in Gauteng, I'll walk to, because the main library in Pretoria is open and the Sunnyside one is open. And I think some of our branches in the whole country, they are also functioning. So you can just go and collect it from there, but you have to search for the title of that recommended book for you to be able to request it. So with recommended material, whether it's e-reserves or it's recommended books, you use the course code to go and search for them. Okay, I hope the question is answered. What I want to quickly show before I go to these bibliographic management tools, I just want to go to Google Scholar. So with Google Scholar, you just go here and then you key in Google Scholar. So for you to be able to search on Google Scholar and be able to you see, I've got my Mendeley importer here. So I have to say to Google Scholar, I must go to My Library, and then it's not the same. Okay, Google Scholar, I have to do the settings. I must first do a search. Let's see my profile. No, I don't want the profile. I'm going to search for something, maybe COVID-19. Phrase search. So I get this. There's a way for you to do a setting on Google Scholar. You go here. Can you see what I've done? On Google Scholar, before you even do a search, you must first do your settings. And then you just say, show links to import citation into. If you want to import those citations that you want to import to a web importer. So I'm going to change Bibliographic Manager. Remember, we are dealing with bibliographic management tools. If you go to Google Scholar just here, you click here and then you find settings. And then you just change this. You want to show links to import into my citations. You tick on this one and then you save. So any searching that I'm doing here on COVID-19, it will allow me to import to my bibliographic text thing. If I want this particular article, let's say I want this one, it will now have this. But if I haven't set my settings, I won't have this import. If I click here, okay, it comes in different, okay, I have to click here and then I must sign in first. Okay, your My Life email account, and then I continue. My password is saved. So once you've imported this successfully, you have to go and open your Google Scholar prompt. And then before you even start searching, you go here and change the settings to an ordinary search to say you now want to import anything that you pick up on Google Scholar into any of your bibliographic management tools, whether it's RefWorks or it's Mendeley. But in this case, it will be Mendeley because I've got the Mendeley import, and then you save this. Okay, and then you go and log in here. So I'm logged in into my web importer. So whatever search I've done here, sorry about that. Whatever search I've done, it replicates it onto my Mendeley importer. Can you see that? So all of this now appear here. So I don't have to go and say import this because I've saved my settings and I want to import these into my Mendeley library. I'll just have to select the ones that I think will be able to answer my question. I just go and select according to what I want, and then I just say add to my library. There's my library. So these 3 articles will be added into my library. So when I open my library Mendeley account, I'll see the top articles added to. If I go and view my library here, it's going to allow me now to go and log in into my Mendeley account. I haven't logged out, so this is my online. Can you see that it's syncing? When I open immediately, it's syncing all these latest articles that I've added from here. So you do your settings with Google Scholar, you do your search, you open your Mendeley, you log into your Mendeley library account, and then it sort of duplicates what you've searched on and it put it here. And then you just select the ones and then you say, add these to my library. And then from there you go and view your library, and here they are, the 3 articles that I've recently added. If I click on recently added, there they are. So they are now in my library, in my online one on Mendeley, because I didn't log out. I've just logged in with my credentials. Okay, so this is how you go about with your Google Scholar. I'm not talking about the ordinary Google because I don't want to go there. You don't do Google searching. You have to go to Google Scholar to be able to do this. Right. Okay, I'm going to close my Google Scholar and go back to the library. Remember I said you go through your guide. It's called the library guides and it's under R. It's called the reference management tool. Go under R, there it is, pick your R. It's a reference management tools guide. And it explains to you what this whole guide is all about. And then it gives you Mendeley, it also gives you RefWorks. So somebody asked about RefWorks. So with RefWorks, you click on RefWorks, and then you go and open the RefWorks portal, the database itself, and then you register. So you register with your my life email account, and then you create your password. And with RefWorks also, they've got, remember I said with Mendeley, there's that nice YouTube video. They've got their own little videos. They even have their own library guide. So with RefWorks, once you choose RefWorks as your bibliographic management tool place, you have to be you have to use RefWorks always online. There's no a way that you can be offline. You have to be online all the time with RefWorks. So you can go. It's got it tells you what you can do on RefWorks. The same as it's the same. It's different. It's different databases. It's RefWorks and it's Mendeley. The only advantage with Mendeley is that you can work offline, but they work all the same. It tells you that you can access and you can create the account. You drag and drop your PDFs. You can drag and drop from any database and drop your PDFs into your RefWorks account. And then there are folders, and then they also have a right-hand side, and then you can also, you have to download that right-hand side thing. So go and look at it. And for students that want to use EndNote. So EndNote, we don't subscribe to EndNote, but it's part of our Web of Science database. It's given to us freely. So I think most of the history, if I'm not mistaken, history and the law people use EndNote because it's got it's got a way, that's how they reference with footnotes. People who have to write footnotes at the bottom of their work, they use a lot of EndNote, which is embedded in one of, and it's a free software that you can download from the internet, and then you just use it. But when you go to Mendeley, like I said, people who prefer to use RefWorks, it's like Mendeley, you have to open an account. You just go to ProQuest, and then it will sort of like give you something like this, and then it says you must use your login from your MyUnisa institutions. So they want your student number, your MyLife email account, and then you can create any of your passwords, and then you in. But I'm not going to demonstrate RefWorks because we're trying to make sure that most of our students use Mendeley. RefWorks, it's an old referencing management system. It's now been now being upgraded, and it's almost similar to, and a lot of our it's similar to Mendeley. Most of our academics and all students from UNISA have accounts with RefWorks because it came first. So we only got into Mendeley later, because Mendeley started as a social networking tool, and then it was developed into this very nice reference tool. So this is where you go and register, you go and create an account with Mendeley. You just click here, and then it will ask you a few questions so that you can enter your institutional email. That's where, because this is a subscribed database, and then you move on to your, I'm registered with RefWorks, but I'm not going to start now and create another account. So you go to your here, you open your guide, and then you go to that library guide. Let me just open it again because I seem to have closed it. Your reference management tool guide. And then you go Mendeley, and then it says here, getting started. And besides getting started, you have, it tells you how to build your research library. There's guidelines on how to do that. Like I have now my own research library. And then how do you manage these references? You must go and read up, how do I add recently added, my favorites, whether I need to have my folders. Please go and read up with that. And then your right-hand side, there's this video that I actually want you to go and listen up to, because this will show you that when you once start writing, how do you pull references to this online, to this desktop, because this is your desktop which you're going to work on offline. You don't need to be online. With Mendeley, you can export everything into your online library, but when you start working, you're going to pull references when you are working from your desktop. So that is one of the nicest things with Mendeley. You don't have to be logged into an online account, but even with the desktop, sometimes you have to log in with your online account just to pull to sync what is on that online one. So please go and look at this. It's under your CITE and write, and then there's lots of help functions on Mendeley. So these are the 5-minute Mendeley. They tell you, this is a tour on Mendeley desktop. How do you maneuver there? Even with RefWorks, I don't want to discount how good also this one is. They've got a very nice YouTube video, and they tell you, and then all of this will be covered in this video. There's a lot of help functions as well with RefWorks, and they've got their own a library guide where they give you tips on how to do 1, 2, 3. So please, if you prefer RefWorks and you don't mind to work online all the time, register an account by using this link. But now I'm just going to demonstrate Mendeley. If you click on that getting started, I told you must go and register an account. You open this. I've got an account, but you guys, you have to go and register. It opens a page. I think it opens this page as a new user, and then you go and create an account. So it will say to you, I've already have an account. That is why it's bringing this up. But it's going to want you to create an account. There's a create an account, a prompt here, and then it will want to know whether you are a PhD student or a master's student. It gives you sort of, I think it's about a 1 or 2, 3, 4 steps that you can complete. And the password that you use to create this account is the one that you're going to use once you've downloaded your web, your desktop version. Okay, I'm going to sign in. I just want to show you how this online library of mine looks like. You know it by now. I screen capture this, but I don't want to go through all of this. So this is sort of like an add-on. If I want to search maybe for something, remember Mendeley started as a social networking tool. Some of the top authors are placing their thing. You can come and search for anything here, but I'm not going to do a search because I want to demonstrate my library. So you guys, once you've created an account, you won't have anything. You still have to go and do searches and export your references here. So my recently added articles are these ones. So if I go and open them, these are the ones that came directly from my Google Scholar search. There's my PDF document. I can start working from here, from my library, and start reading this piece. So it's one of the articles on COVID-19 in Africa. I can download this if I don't want to work from this space, and maybe I download it and put it on my desktop or wherever I want to. But you have this library, it's an online library. You can just as well keep this document here. So whatever you export, it comes with the PDF, or you can go and get it, but there's my file, it's a PDF, this is an article, this is the reference. Okay, so this is what your library looks like. Okay, I'm going to go back. So these are my recently added items, and if I want all the references to appear, they are all here. So this is my list. I can create, a collection. I can even add folders I can import from the library as a bib text, or if I'm from another EndNote XML, or I can add my references manually here if I haven't had a chance to. Let's say it's a print book that you want added onto this. You just go and change here to say, no, this is my book, or this is a book section, which means it's a chapter. And then you just complete all of this, and then you add entry. It will appear on the list of your library items. So you can add manually here. And this is how my online library looks like. So it comes with it exports everything. If there are no PDF, it still gives me access to the URL of this particular article. I can just click here and then it will take me to where this full text article is sitting. So this is where, if it doesn't have a PDF of that particular article, it will provide you with a link. So on Google Scholar, you get various things. Some of them are full text, they give you a PDF. Some of them just refers you to a link which sits in this database. In this, it's hosted by this Nature Human Behavior website. So this is where my article is. Okay, so I can download it from here, or I can just leave it in my library. So in most instances, it will pick up stuff that is full text with a PDF link, or it will give you just a link to where you can find this article. So this is once you've added stuff onto your online library. Right. If you go and do your download desktop, because this is your second task that you must do. You've registered an account, you've created a password for your Mendeley online, and it looks like this. It's your library, it's got your name here, but your ones, if you're not registered already on Mendeley, will not have references. So your second step is to now just go and download Mendeley on your desktop. My one is there already. Am I still sharing?
Yes, you are. We can still see.
Yes, we can.
I just want to see. Can you see my desktop? You can't. Okay, so when I close all of this, behind my screen, there's this Mendeley desktop icon on my desktop. So once your download is successful, it has to have this red on behind my screen. If you use some other, maybe you use an Apple version, you go here, or Linux, whatever version you are using. So it has to appear on your desktop. That's your second assignment. The third one is to do your web importer, which will have to be like this. If I put my cursor there, you can see Mendeley web importer. I have, has access to whatever I'm doing on Google Scholar. This is what we've done when we did a search on Google Scholar. After we've set our settings, then you are able to open this and then just export some of the references that you get from Google Scholar into your Mendeley account. This is your number 3. And then the citation plugin will appear on your MS Word documents. If you open your MS Word documents, you will see it appears there, which I'm going to show you quickly now. Okay, I'm just going to close this. I just want to share with you a document quickly so that you can see that citation importer, how it looks like. Okay. Just want to unshare. Where are we? I'm going to unshare quickly this, and then I'll unshare. I'll share again. I just want to put on my Word document. I want to share a Word document so that I can demonstrate to you. Is it there? You can see it now. Samu?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes, it's visible.
Yes. Once you've reached that fourth step where you do your plug-in, citation plug-in, you've now managed to download it properly. It has to sit when you go to your Word document under references. It's not doing anything. Oh, sorry. Can you see that? There's my Mendeley icon. As soon as it's successfully been uploaded, it's here. Okay, so I go references. Now I'm writing my assignment, and you know, my style of reference should also be. I actually have to open my thing first. Sorry about that. I just want to open my Mendeley desktop because it's not going to work with my desktop not working. Okay, so I'm back here. I want to share my desktop as well. Can you see my desktop, Samu?
Not yet. It's visible.
It's now. You can see my desktop.
Yes.
No, not this one. This one. It's here now. Can you all see my desktop?
Yes, it's visible now.
Yes.
Okay. So this is my desktop, and this is my Word document. I just want to also share my Word document quickly. It sometimes doesn't work properly. I will have to have my Word document open together with my desktop. I'm going to share my Word document. This is my Word document, and I've opened my my desktop. Now I want to start writing. I've been exporting into my online library. I've got references that are syncing on my online library. When I open my desktop, once you've logged in, you have that syncing thing happening, meaning the desktop is now picking up references that you recently added on your online one, and then it makes the two to be the same. So let's see if I can pick up the latest references. And then I'm just going to say, I want to open my Mendeley desktop. What is this now? And I'm going to ask, you see, once my Mendeley desktop is opened, it's going to sync and just bring the latest additions onto this page. So what I want to do here, oh no, sorry. I want to open my Mendeley desktop. What I want to do is to maybe take this reference, the first one. Okay, I'm going to click on the first reference, and then I have to go, I think it's tools, where I have, where it says CITE. Remember, when you have your desktop installed, it's all you can see now. I've installed the web importer. I've got this web plugin. So I'm just taking Harvard and say use this style of my reference, and then it's done. And then I just go here and say to the system, I want to insert the citation. And then go to my Mendeley and take the first article and say CITE, because I've asked for the Harvard. This is the way it does it. And then go to the third item, go to references, insert my citation, go to Mendeley, fetch the second citation and say CITE. So there it is. Maybe this is not the right example because it's just a topic. Okay, go again to my Mendeley. You have to have your cursor where you want your citation to be. You put your cursor on the document, you go references, insert citation. You see now my Harvard appears here. Insert my citation, go to my desktop Mendeley, take this one, cite this item, there it is. Just have it. And then you go to the last one, go to references, insert my citation, pick it up from my Mendeley, and I go with this one, and then I say cite this one. Okay. So you do your write-up, you do your in-text citation, you can even do page numbers. You can either do them manually or you can go into your Mendeley account, insert citation, and then you just put maybe, let's say, page. It will show you how you do the paginations. You go to Mendeley and then you look at the reference itself, and then it gives you a proper pagination number. You can either do it, because according to your style of citation, you can even insert that this quotation comes from this page. That is why I said previously, make sure you upload all the PDF documents because they have page numbers instead of your HTML files. So let's say this document is, I'm happy with my document, I'm writing my assignment, or is it my research paper, I'm done here. And then I just say, go back to references, and I say to the system, just insert my bibliography. So I just go maybe here, and then just call this bibliography or list of sources. I might as well underline it. So all of this, and what the system does, depending on what you are doing, it just puts them all in an alphabetical order for you. So you can see here, there's the title of, there's the author. This is how Harvard cites. So this is your author, followed by the date, the title of the article, and the name of the source, which is your journal title, the volume, the issue number. This is how Harvard does its page numbers. As soon as you know that it's PP 4 to 15, when you do your in-text citation, you can say PP 5. This is where I got the code, and it gives you the DOI number. The DOI number is a unique number for this particular title of a journal. So in most references recently, they come up with those DOI numbers. So this is how it cites. In my list, I've listed books, it will give me books on that particular, on the Harvard citation method. So this is how it does. You go to your work, you do your citations, you pick up references from your desktop, you go to your Mendeley, you pull them out, you plug them where you want your wording to come, and then you continue. So this maybe, let's say this is chapter 1, then you continue to your chapter 2. You write up, you go references, please insert my citation, in this method, and then you continue along the way. But it's once your Mendeley desktop is successfully being installed, it will sit on your desktop. This is only when you open your references that it appears. If it doesn't appear, then it means you haven't added it properly. So I'm going to close this, and then we can go to our main guide. Okay, so I can now close this one and close this one, and then just log out. Remember to sign out every time you are working online. Right, we're going to go back to our reference management tool guide, or any of your guides, whether it's in you don't have to use the reference management tools guide now. You can use any of your guide. I'm going to go to my information science one, where I want to demonstrate to you, especially you guys who are new in this research support, you know, your research methodology stuff. So I want to end this with this tab here. Remember, you know now how to search for your books, your articles, and then you have, and in some instances we've actually put some reference sources, you know, the online ones. I just want to urge you that these are the dictionaries or the encyclopedias. So in my department, in information science, they've got encyclopedias where students can go and look for terms like information management, what it is. So you get dictionaries or you get encyclopedias that will give you an explanation of what the term information management is all about. So check with on your guides. You each have a guide. All the librarians, all the personal librarians have these guides. They have online reference sources. You check, you want to embark on a topic, just go and see the definition of what you're working on. Under reference sources. But under this research support tab, like I said, we've placed just generic information books on research methodology for this particular subject area. If you go to your own subject area, you'll find a list of books that you can click on. It takes you to the library. You can just go and request it if you want it. And when you go and request, like I said, it's going to ask for your credentials. And here you use your MyLife email account, your MyLife password, because these are only meant for all our registered students. So it's not a free for all. So, and this is what I told you, when you request, you can ask the library to send it to nearer branch for you. The last time I show you where you go and look for the branch locator, you can check on the library's homepage for your branch locator, and then you can see, I'm in the East Rand, I can go to Ekurhuleni. I'm in Polokwane, I can go to the Polokwane branch. I'm in Durban, I can do that. So you tell the system, the library, that I need these books to be sent to my to this kind of a branch. Okay, this is where, so the books that you find here, most of them are available in the library. Some of them are actually ebooks, which will be nice for you to just use an ebook of your choice on a specific research methodology. But in this instance, I want to add with this SAGE research methods online. This is one of our databases that deals with all kinds of methodologies. It's compiled by all the research methodology experts. So they have all kinds of videos. They talk about qualitative research methods. They've got little snippets of videos and tell you what qualitative method it's all about and how do you embark on a literature review. They've got all videos, and some of the videos we do have subscription to. And if a video is locked, you know UNISA hasn't paid for that kind of a content. They've got their own little books. They've got green and blue books where these experts are writing up on any methodology, whether it's interviews or whether it's surveys. So the experts are producing all of this. So this is at the beginning of you as honor students. When you start embarking on these methodologies, it's worth your while to go and check all of this. And they talk broadly about qualitative or quantitative research methods, and just go and see their articles, their ebooks, and they also have dictionaries at the bottom of the page here. They have all the, they cover most of the subject areas. If you don't want to go to generic stuff, you can go according to your subject area. So it started as a social science database, but it has since ballooned into this big multidisciplinary database where they've tried, their best to include. We even, latest they've got mathematics and medicine, but we don't have medicine at UNISA. So nursing, politics, psychology, the social sciences, social work and sociology, they are covering that. You can go and look at your own discipline and see what there is. But what I want to show you, they've got this excellent methods map at the tail end of the database, where you can just go as a new student in honors, where you have to write, you've got a paper on research methods, or you have to write a research report. This is where you can start. You just click on it. It's going to map the methodologies for you. So let's say you're not even aware, there's something called qualitative or quantitative. It's going to tell you that when you talk about a research method, you at the center of things. What does this research method concept talk about? When you speak about research methods, you are totally talking about all of this. So research method, it includes key concepts in research, philosophy of research, research ethics, research design, data collection, all of this, qualitative and quantitative data analysis, and there's more. So it sort of tells you, it gives you an overall picture of what this whole research method thing it's all about. And if you are interested, let's say you want to look at the research design, you have to click on it to open, and then it tells you when you speak about the research design, this is what you should be talking about. This is what it encompasses. When you talk about research design, you have all these concepts. Let's say now you want to delve into this concept of research design. It gives you links to research design. So you can click on that link, and then now it breaks it into different categories for you. It's going to give you book chapters. It's going to give you encyclopedias. It's going to give you ebooks. It's going to give you articles on the concept research design. So here, most of these books, there are videos. If the video is locked, then you don't have access to it. So this one, it doesn't have a locked video. You can just go and learn about this. What is research design? You go and orientate yourself about this one. It will tell you that it comes from this, it was published in this, and make sure that when you use these resources, you cite properly. So this is a video. If I want this is an ebook, and I think it's got a chapter in it. You can click on it. All these blue links are clickable. So you've got it's a chapter 4 under this topic, and it's in this book. So this book has chapter 4 of it talking about research design, so you can just download it. You would have registered and logged in onto the database. You can just download the entire book. So you can just see what this whole chapter is all about. It tells you this is all what it is all about. You can just go and download the entire chapter, and remember to reference properly here. If it's a chapter in a book, it's not an article. It is a chapter in a book. So you go and check your referencing style. How do they reference chapters in books? So this chapter in this book. It's about 28 pages. If you are interested, you can go and have a look at it. What I forgot to show you, it's that Monash lip guide on how you do different, but you can just go to the information science lip guide and open it and see what it says. Okay, so the methods map will map all the methodologies for you, depending what you are interested in. If you want to know more about qualitative research, I just want to go back to that map. And in some of your results list, you will have this research design. Let's say maybe you begin with research methods, and you want to look what is actually qualitative or quantitative data. What is it? You just click on it, and then it opens the whole thing for you. Or you can just, on the first page of this database, you do a search, literature review. And if you're lucky, you'll have a video where an expert will tell you, there's a video, how do you create a literature review sketch? It depends again on your subject area. In some honors papers, they'll have to also do a bit of literature review. It's not a big thing, but this trains you actually when you move on to your master's. Then you know how a literature review is done. So creating a sketch of a literature review, you can listen up, and this expert will tell you how you go about it. How does the literature review differ from doing desk research? So you go and look at all of this. Like I said, sometimes it's encyclopedias that will give you a broader concept on how a literature review should be done. Or sometimes you get dictionary stuff where they just explain to you what the literature review is all about. You can either do a search, but what I want you to start with when you come here is to go to that methods map. It's actually nice because it opens your mind, and you are able to see that this animal called research method. It's got all tentacles. It's not like it's a small little thing. It's got different concepts. It's research methods, but it's encompassed by all kinds of other terms. So there's philosophy of research, the key concepts of research. If you want to know more about that, you just click on the concept, then it opens up. Gives you all the nice things about it. It tells you if you want to look at the key concepts in research, you have to think about all of this, but you can just go under general and get all the information about that. And on your right hand side here, you have the content type. You can just say to the system, I don't want to look at videos. I don't have time to listen up to this. I just want to deselect everything, and I'm just looking for the ebooks. Here you've got, you can just say, I want to look at the ebooks, which will enable you to download chapters from there. There are no references in this instance, and there are, I think there are journal articles. Let me see, there are no journal articles. So your hit is to just go and look at some of the videos. And what is nice with some of these, let me just get, this is a video. This is one of the books. It also, in some instances, it will let you know how you can cite this particular item depending on your citation method. Actually, it will tell you this is how you cite. So this is it's a research design. It's a chapter, and I can either download it or I can just ask, you know, here, how can I cite this? So it's an APA. If I want to change, I'm not using APA, I can choose any of this. So before you start even downloading stuff, you can actually tell the system, I want it cited in this way. I'm using Harvard, or I'm using MLA, or I'm using MAA. Please cite this thing for me in that format, so that when you export this into your share button here, if you want to send this to your email, so you can send this to your email, and then if you send this to your email, it will send it in that particular citation style. So what is nice with all of these research methodology books, whether it's a chapter in a book, whether it's an article, you have an option to change the citation and tell the system, please, I want this sent to my email, or I want this sent to wherever I want it to send. I want to save it on my flash drive so that I can export it to my Mendeley account, but I want it in this particular citation style. This you can do manually here, to say change the citation before you send it to me. Okay, so the share button allows you to send it to all these. These are your Facebook, but I don't think most people want to share their stuff there. You rather send it to your email. Okay, so this is your research methodology key database. Once you start writing your research paper, you have to come here and explore the methods map and select the kind of methodology that you want to take for your study, and then it will give you all sorts of things. And finally, I just want to go back to that referencing, where I will just quickly display to you the Monash guide, where you'll find all kinds of referencing. So I'll go quickly to Harvard. When you hover over Harvard, it tells you, it gives you sort of a list of things. So if you've used books and websites and journal articles, you will just have to click and see how does this Harvard. But then again, you have to confirm with your lecturers if this is the proper way of citing. If it's one author, it will tell you how do you do that. If it's 2 or 3 authors, if it's an annual report, if it's a government publication, if it's this is how Harvard cites their thing. The language people will go for MLA, and this is the 8th edition, and I hope this is the latest edition. So the same for journal articles, for all the language people, this is how you cite them. For your books, how do you do your in-text citation? You know, the one that we were doing when we were pulling references from our desktop. How does, this in-text citation work? They give you an example at the bottom here. If it's poetry, how do you do your in-text citation? If it's a single author, how do you do that? So language people will go for this. The law people, I'm not sure about the law at UNISA. So you guys, all the people who are studying law, you have to actually contact your librarians or even your lecturers, because law do things differently, because they are like the historians. They have to have footnotes, so they'll give you guidance. Why do you cite and how do you cite it? But before you actually even copy what Monash students are doing, just bounce the idea back to your academics. And the APA people, those are the psychology, the social sciences, and there's also the way of them, how do they do this in-text citation? How do you insert page numbers in your document? So they've got an in-text citation. They give you, if you use a conference paper, how do you cite that? If it's an audio or a visual thing, how does that pan out? So go and look at this Monash thing, but first make sure you contact your lecturers, you ask for a proper citation style, and then you stick to one style. It's so irritating for some of the academics when they have to mark your assignments. Then you've used one reference, it's in an APA style, the other reference it's in Harvard, the next one it's in MLA, the other one it's in Vancouver or it's in Chicago. So stick to one style of referencing. I see on this one they've got a latest Harvard 2020 edition. So make sure that you go to your lecturers. You can, you've got their details on your TAT 101s. Send them an email and ask which method, citation style are they using. And in some departments, they actually, they've got a piece in those TAT 101s where they tell you this is how you have to cite. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to end.